Good afternoon, and welcome to Education Forward, the show where we discuss the future of learning. Today we're exploring a question that's very important for students, parents, and teachers. Should students be allowed to choose their own subjects in school? This is a topic with strong opinions on both sides. On one hand, there's the idea that student choice leads to greater motivation. On the other, there's the concern about maintaining high educational standards for everyone. To help us understand these different views, we have two wonderful guests with us today. First, I'd like to introduce Mr. David Chen. He's a high school teacher with over 10 years of experience and a strong supporter of giving students more freedom in their studies. And joining him is Mrs. Evelyn Reed, a school principal who has dedicated her career to building a strong, structured curriculum. She believes in the importance of a traditional approach. Welcome to you both. Our debate today will be simple. Each guest will begin with an opening statement. After that, we'll have a discussion and take some questions. Finally, they'll each give a closing statement. So let's begin. Mr. Chen, we'll start with you. Please, give us your opening statement.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be here to discuss such an important topic. My main argument is simple. When we give students the power to choose their subjects, we give them the power to love learning. Education should not feel like a prison sentence, where you have to complete tasks you hate. It should be an adventure, a journey of discovery. Think about it from a student's perspective. When you're forced to study a subject you have no interest in, how much do you really learn? You might memorize facts for a test, but do you understand them? Do you carry that knowledge with you? Usually the answer is no. The information disappears right after the exam. This isn't real learning, it's just a memory game. Now, imagine a different situation. Imagine a student who loves video games and wants to learn how they're made. If we allow that student to choose a class on computer programming or digital art, their motivation will be incredibly high. They won't just do the homework, they'll spend their free time practicing, watching tutorials online and building their own projects. They're not just learning a subject, they're following a passion. This brings me to my second point, responsibility. Choosing subjects is a critical life skill. In the real world, adults have to make important decisions about their careers, their finances, and their lives. We can't protect children from decisions forever. Allowing them to choose subjects in a safe school environment is perfect practice. It teaches them to think about their interests, their strengths, and their future goals. They learn to research their options and understand the consequences of their choices. This is far more valuable than forcing them down a single path. Finally, let's talk about student well-being. The pressure on students today is enormous. They worry about grades, exams, and what the future holds. Forcing them to study multiple subjects they find extremely difficult or boring only adds to this stress. It can lead to anxiety and a feeling of failure. When students have some control over their learning, their school environment becomes a more positive and supportive place. They feel seen and respected as individuals. In conclusion, education should be about lighting a fire, not just filling a bucket. By allowing students to choose their subjects, we're not abandoning them. We're trusting them, empowering them, and inspiring them to become lifelong learners.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Mr. Chen, for your passionate perspective. While I understand the desire to make students happy, I believe our primary responsibility as educators is to prepare them for the complexities of the world, and that requires a strong foundational education for everyone. My main argument is this. A core curriculum is not a restriction. It is a gift. It is the gift of a complete and balanced education that opens doors rather than closing them. Let's begin with the need for foundational knowledge. Subjects like mathematics, science, literature, and history are not just collections of facts. They are the tools we use to understand the world. Mathematics teaches logical reasoning and problem solving. Science teaches us how to think critically and analyze evidence. Literature helps us understand the human experience and develop empathy. These skills are essential in any career, whether you become an artist, a doctor, or an engineer. If we allow students to drop these subjects early, we are creating serious gaps in their knowledge and skills. This leads me to my second point, which is that most students are simply too young to make these life-altering decisions. A 14-year-old's interests can change very quickly. The student who loves video games today might discover a passion for medicine tomorrow, but if they dropped biology and chemistry, that door may already be closed to them. It is our professional and moral duty to guide them and to ensure they keep as many future options open as possible. We cannot expect a teenager to plan a future they cannot yet imagine. A structured curriculum protects them from making short-sighted decisions they might regret later. Finally, a standard curriculum is a matter of fairness and equality. It ensures that every single student, regardless of their family background or the wealth of their school district, receives the same fundamental education. It creates a level playing field. It gives universities and employers a clear and fair standard to evaluate all students. Without this common ground, how can we compare applicants fairly? A system of total choice risks creating a two-tier system where some students get a well-rounded education and others are left behind. In conclusion, our role as educators is to provide a strong, comprehensive, and balanced education. It is our job to challenge students, to push them beyond their comfort zones, and to prepare them for a future that is full of possibilities they don't even know exist yet.
Thank you both for those excellent opening statements. You've clearly defined the core of this debate: student passion versus a foundational education. Mrs. Reed, I'd like to start with you. Mr. Chen spoke very passionately about student motivation. In a traditional system with a required curriculum, how do you keep students engaged, especially in subjects they find difficult or, frankly, boring?
That's an excellent and very practical question, Sarah. It is a constant challenge, I admit. First, I believe that a great teacher can make any subject interesting. It is part of our professional skill to find creative ways to connect the material to students' lives. But I want to add something more fundamental. Part of education is learning to do things that are difficult. Life is not always fun and easy. When a student works hard to pass a difficult math class, they aren't just learning algebra. They are learning discipline, persistence, and the satisfaction of overcoming a challenge. These qualities build character. So, while we must always work to make our classes engaging, we must also teach students the value of hard work and perseverance. It's not always about immediate fun. It's about long-term preparation for life.
A very interesting point about building character. Thank you, Mrs. Reed. Mr. Chen, let me turn to you. Mrs. Reed raised a very serious concern that students might avoid important subjects, creating gaps in their knowledge and limiting their future. How would a system of choice prevent this?
That is the most common and most important question, and I am glad you asked it. My vision is not about 100% free choice, which would be chaotic. I believe in a hybrid model, a balanced approach. For example, students would still be required to take a few core subjects, like their native language, a certain level of math, and perhaps one science and one humanities subject. This ensures they have that foundational knowledge Mrs. Reed rightly values. But around this core, they would have a wide variety of elective courses to choose from. And I would also argue that essential skills like critical thinking can be learned in many different contexts. A student can learn research skills by writing a history essay, but they can also learn them by creating a documentary film or designing a video game. The key is to focus on the skills, not just the subject name. A flexible curriculum can still be rigorous and produce well-rounded individuals.
So a quote, core and choice model. That's a clear proposal. This brings up another point: career guidance. If students are making these choices, they need good information. How do we make sure they are making informed choices?
The role of school counselors becomes absolutely critical in any system, but especially in one with more choice. However, counselors are often overworked. we would need a massive investment in guidance programs. And parents must also be involved. But some parents may not have the information to guide their children about future careers. The school must provide that structure.
I agree completely that career guidance is essential. In my ideal system, guidance is not just a 30-minute meeting once a year. It's a class. It's integrated into the curriculum. Students would explore different careers, talk to professionals, and even have internship opportunities. They would make their subject choices with the help of a personal advisor who knows them well. It's about giving them the tools and the support to make good decisions, not making the decisions for them.
That sounds wonderful in theory, Mr. Chen, but the resources required for that level of personalized guidance are simply not available in most public schools. A standard curriculum is more practical and equitable. In closing, I want to return to my central theme, the duty of care we have as educators. While the idea of student choice is attractive, and I do believe in listening to our students, the risks are too great. This could lead to significant gaps in their knowledge, making it harder for them to succeed in university and in their careers. It could limit their future in ways they cannot yet understand. A well-designed, structured curriculum is a safe and fair path. It guarantees that every student has the same opportunity to learn the fundamental skills that our society has decided are important. It is a promise of quality and equality. Our job is not just to make students happy today, but to prepare them for a successful and fulfilling life tomorrow.
Is it to create identical products who can pass the same tests? Or is it to nurture curious, independent, and passionate individuals? I believe it is the second one. A system that embraces choice is a system that trusts students. It tells them that their interests matter, and their passions are valuable. The benefits are clear: higher motivation, deeper learning, and the development of crucial life skills like decision-making and responsibility. This approach does not just prepare them for a job, it prepares them for a world that is constantly changing. A world that requires creativity, adaptability, and a love of learning. Let's build an education system that focuses on individual strengths and inspires a genuine, lifelong passion for discovery. Let's trust our students. They will not disappoint us.
Thank you, Mr. Chen, and thank you, Mrs. Reed, for a truly thoughtful and insightful debate. You have both argued your points with great clarity and passion. We've heard two very different but equally compelling visions for education. Mrs. Reed has championed the need for a structured, foundational curriculum to ensure equality and preparedness for all students. Mr. Chen has made a powerful case for the power of student choice to foster motivation, responsibility, and a genuine love of learning. Ultimately, the question of how to balance these two important goals remains one of the most critical challenges in education today. Thank you to our audience for watching. We hope this discussion has given you much to think about. Good afternoon.